Yo, what's up guys, TS Games here, and welcome back to another Teach a Friend. I know, I said I would be doing these on Friday, and it's Saturday. Again, I get it. I know. Stop yelling. No, I know, stop yelling at me. Okay, it's all good. Okay, so, today, as you can probably tell by the title, I mean, I don't technically know what I'm going to title the video yet, but I'm assuming I'm going to be using the name of the lesson in the title. Obviously, you know, what's the point of having a title if it's not about what that's beside the point. Today I'm talking about time management, but you knew that already. This is lesson 7 in the class that I'm in, but it's lesson 2 for you guys, because I just started making these. And so, I'm not going to touch on all of the topics that were touched on this lesson, because this lesson, well, obviously took a very religious standpoint, being as I go to a religious school, so it's, you know, I go to a Mormon school, it's going to be using a lot of religion in its teaching, which is great for me, but probably not as good for you guys, because it's not as, I guess not as effective, so to speak, you wouldn't understand as much. So I'm going to, again, take this from as much of a non-religious standpoint as I can. So the topic that I want to focus most on is procrastination, which I am literally the worst spokesperson on ever, because I am literally the king of procrastination. Like, I am the guy who will do all of his homework in the class period before it's due. Like, that's me. That has always been me, and that will probably always be me. For example, my work is due at 10 o'clock tonight. I've had all week to be doing it, and I'm doing it today. Procrastination. I shouldn't be doing that. That's just how I am, which is, I guess, why I definitely really need to do this lesson. And maybe, just maybe, teaching this lesson will help me to not procrastinate. Because, well, a quote from the current president of our church, Thomas S. Monson. He said, "Make certain as you prepare that you do not procrastinate. Someone has said that procrastination is the thief of time. Actually, procrastination is much more. It is the thief of our self-respect. It nags at us and spoils our fun. It deprives us of the fullest realization of our ambitions and hopes." Now, I want to take a closer look at that last sentence right there. It deprives us of the fullest realization of our ambitions and hopes. Now, obviously there's a reason that I'm telling you not to procrastinate, and that's because when you're procrastinating, when you wait till the last minute to do something, you are rushing to get it all done so that you can get it done on time. Now, when you do that, what you're doing is you're not putting as much effort into it as you should be. You're not, the assignment or whatever task you're trying to complete is not going to be done as well as it should be. Why is my camera out of focus? Sorry, ignore that. Anyway, it's not going to be done to the full extent at which it needs to be done, and so that's why we should be, you know, if we have a due date, work on it earlier. Start working on it earlier so that you can have a much better result, I guess. If you rush to get everything done right at the last minute, then it's not going to be as high quality as when you've been working on it throughout a week or whatever time frame. I'm just talking about homework specifically in this case, but this can apply to anything you might be procrastinating on. Now, there was another thing I wanted to mention. It's around here somewhere. Oh, okay, I found it. There was a quote that I was looking for by the 12th president of our church. He was a previous president, Spencer W. Kimball. He said, well, actually, he said Jesus taught this, but that's okay. So Jesus taught how important it is to use our time wisely, right? Now, I'm not going to go into the religious aspect of that, just because for, you know, viewer purposes. So this does not mean that there can never be any leisure, for there must be time for contemplation and renewal, but there must be no waste of time. Wise time management is really the wise management of ourselves. So when learning to manage our time, we need to learn to use our time wisely. That doesn't mean that it should be just all work constantly and should never set aside time for leisure, which is, you know, you actually really should be setting yourself time for leisure, but you should be using that time wisely. You should never be wasting time. if there's time that could be spent doing something and you're using more time than you should doing absolutely nothing, like there's another assignment in here and my teacher's not going to be very happy with it because it's a time chart. I've been tracking what I've been doing for 30-minute intervals for the last 24 hours. 48 hours. Yeah, 48 hours. My teacher is not going to be very happy with that time chart because it's from 12 to 11:30 a.m. the next day. I was asleep. Then I was on watching YouTube videos until 4. And then I was getting ready for rehearsal, and then I was rehearsing all night. So, that's not really good use of time management because I could have spent that time doing homework, but I didn't. And then the next day I stayed up till 6:30 yesterday morning watching Stranger Things because Stranger Things just came out, and wow, like I said, I'm definitely the worst spokesperson to talk about time management, but that's why I'm making this video, is because what I say in this video I'll probably gain some insight on that and maybe fix some things. So, yeah. So that's why we don't procrastinate. That's because procrastination is a massive, massive waste of our time. We could be using the time we spend procrastinating to actually, work. Now, if we're not procrastinating, obviously there's a way we should be doing it. And in a talk given by Joseph B. Wirthlin, he was in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles in 2003. He mentioned something that he does to make sure that he manages his time wisely. And now, this goes into something I mentioned in the last video, which was learning to set your priorities. But that was, I talked about that in the art, I guess, so to speak, of decision making and goal setting, is setting your priorities. Now he said, each night before I go to bed, I take out a small card and write a list of things I need to do the next day in order of their priority. So what he's doing is, before he's going to bed, he's like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this, and he's setting them in order of how important each of those things are. Now, when he arrives at the office next morning, he says, when I arrive at the office in the morning, I check my card and put all my efforts into the first item on the list. When I accomplish that item, I move on to the second, and so on. Some days I finish every item on the list, and on other days, some tasks are not completed. I don't become discouraged, however, because I'm focusing my energies on the things that matter most. Now, that's a great thing. That's definitely a great way that we can be managing our time wisely, is by creating a to-do list, so to speak. And now I think that's something that we all should do, is create a to-do list in order of how important each item on that list is, and then do the items on that list in that order. And then if you don't get everything done, that's not that bad, because the things you don't get done aren't as important as the stuff that you did get done. So all the things that you did get done are more important than the stuff that you didn't. So that's a good thing. So if you I would say make sure to try and do that. It's definitely a better way to manage your time. And I guess this video is going to be shorter than the last, because I'm pretty much that's all I really have to say about that. So yeah, let's review. Don't procrastinate. It's a bad thing. It steals all of your time away and steals your self-respect as well, and it's just a bad thing. Don't do it. What you should be doing instead is using your time wisely. Maybe make a to-do list, like I just talked about. And so yeah, I'm gonna leave this video here. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with all of your friends. Really, share these. If you're gonna share any of my videos, share these ones specifically, because these are the ones that are really helpful to other people. Maybe not so much entertaining, but actually helpful, I hope. Anyway, so yeah, in the next one, I believe we are talking about, give me just 1 second, I will tell you what we're talking about next week. we will be talking about information literacy. I have no idea what that actually means. But, you know, we'll see. But until then, you guys just enjoy yourselves, and I will see you in the next video, alright? Bye-bye!